So there's been a lot of talk lately about forward-facing sonar, and the damiki rig has gotten incredibly popular, so I figured why not make a video showing how you can make your own damiki rig jig heads here at home. In today's video, we're going to be using the Do It Mold's Freestyle jig mold. This one is the model number FST6A, and it makes everything from 1/2 ounce all the way down to 3/16 ounce. They do make another size for anybody that needs much smaller jig heads. This one makes 1/32 ounce up to 3/16 ounce, and the model number on this one is FST6SA. And again, I'll link everything down in the description of today's video. If you guys are going to go buy anything from the Do It Mold's website, please use my affiliate link that is down in the description of today's video, so that way they know that I sent you over there and I can get credit for any sales. So a couple of the features that I really like about this jig head is the giant eye that you have on there. It looks a little bit funky, I know, but that eye I think has something to do with getting more bites than a lot of your other jig heads out there. And then I like the little keeper on there. That wire keeper is going to help keep your baits in place. The 90-degree hook eye on this jig hook is also very important because it's going to keep your bait nice and horizontal in the water column, which is what you want. You want this bait to be as horizontal in the water as possible. There's a few key things that you're going to need in order to make these freestyle jigs. You're going to need a 90-degree jig hook. We're going to be using the 5318 owner hook. It's a nice light wire hook, so if you're not getting good hook sets on those fish because there's slack or something like that in your line, those fish are going to eat that thing. It's going to be a light wire hook, so they're going to be getting that hook into their mouth really, really good. A couple other good hook options are going to be the 5313 owner hook, and then also a Gamakatsu 604 jig hook. Those are both going to be really good for these freestyle jigs. You're also going to need the WB 400 wire keeper. That's going to be helpful to get those baits on to your jig hook and keep them nice and pinned on there and be able to go through a couple fish before you're going to have to replace that soft plastic. You're also going to need some high quality eyes like the Do It Mold's Attack Lure eyes. The Do It Mold's Attack Lure eyes are super 3D, they're super clear, and they're super clean. It gives a really awesome, realistic look underneath the water. So a couple of the first things you want to do is make sure that your lead is melted. This is the Lee lead pot. We got lead pretty much all the way to the top. Warming up my mold by setting the mold on top of the lead pot. Then we're going to check for flow to make sure it's nice and ready to go, which it is. So we're ready to start making these freestyle jigs. All right, for today's video, we're going to be making some 1/4 ounce freestyle jigs. And then we're going to also be making some 3/8 ounce freestyle jigs. I have both my hooks in place. We're using 2/0 hooks in here right now. I wanted the smaller hooks because it's going to pair up better on the baits that I'm going to be using. Next step in the process is adding our wire keeper. Now we'll add it to the 3/8. Next step is closing up the mold. I like to make sure that our mold is flush, that we don't get any flashing. Okay, so now we're going to check for flow. We have good flow. 1/4 ounce, 3/8. Now we'll check them out when they're nice and cool. We have our 3/8 right here and our 1/4 ounce right here. I think they both turned out really good. We'll take them out of the mold and we'll get some more going. Back to our 2/0 owner hooks. Putting in the 3/8 ounce size. Now it's time for our wire keepers. These are the WB 400 size. Close everything up. Once again, check to make sure we're nice and flush. So it's time to check flow again. We have good flow. Pour that 1/4 ounce, 3/8. Let them cool down and we'll check them out. And again, our freestyle jigs turned out really good. We have our 3/8 on this side and our 1/4 on that size. I think I'm going to make 2 more, and then we'll get to putting the eyes on and clipping off our sprues and getting everything nice and dialed in to get ready to fish. Now it's time to cut off our sprue. We're going to take our shears, cut off that sprue. Right here we have a little bit left over, and we'll take our file and file everything down. With this one, you want to make sure everything is nice and smooth, so that way it's in the water and doesn't have any drag or anything like that. Alright, so now we're going to put our Attack Lure eyes from Do It Molds on. I like to use epoxy and just dab some of that epoxy onto the lure eye. What I then do is take a pair of tweezers and get my lure eye onto the head of the jig, and then I'm going to use those tweezers to get it into place exactly where I want it. And that's just looking perfect, right where I want it. And then I'm gonna let it set up so that way the epoxy gets nice and hard. And then I'm gonna take some Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails and clear coat the top of that lure eye and into the surrounding part of the lead. Now it's time for the Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails. And it's basically a nail polish, and you're just gonna take that brush and just brush to cover the eye and the surrounding area where that eye touches the lead. It doesn't take a lot, but I think doing this, one, gives it a little bit extra strength to stay on, so you're not going to have eyes popping off while you're fishing. And I also think it helps to kind of give it just a little bit of a pop, because this stuff dries very, very clear, and I think it makes these 3D lure eyes pop even more than they already do. So you guys can see both of these lure eyes have very realistic 3D features. The first one looks like that bait fish is looking forward, just swimming through the water column. And then that second one gives the impression that that fish is looking down towards those fish that are coming up to eat this bait. I think you can't go wrong either way. These Dual Molds Attack lure eyes are definitely good ones to have in your tackle making lineup. Now that these Freestyle jigs are made up and basically ready to get out on the water, I want to talk to you about a couple plastics that I think will pair up really, really well with this Freestyle jig. The first one is going to be the Dual Molds Easy Shiner. Nice little swim bait profile. Perfect size to pair up on this Freestyle jig. I make these with the Essential Series Easy Shiner mold. It's a great little mold to make a lot of awesome looking swim baits. And the next soft plastic bait that I think would be a real killer on this Freestyle jig is the 6th Sense Juggle Minnow. The Juggle Minnow is a prime little bait for the damiki rig for this Freestyle jig. Pair it up with that 2-aught, 3-aught hook and get ready to hold on, because I definitely think this thing's going to get bit. There it is, guys. That's how you make some damiki rigs at home using the Dual Molds Freestyle jig. Remember, all the products are linked down below in the description of today's video. I got my affiliate link down there to the Dual Molds website. So if you guys decide to get any of the stuff that you've seen in this video, make sure to go through that link so how Dual Molds knows that I sent you and I get credit for those sales. Also, guys, if you want to watch some more tackle making videos, make sure to click on the link that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.